if all your competitors go free, why would people keep paying for WP Umbrella? And I instantly said customer support. And I think time is precious, and you need to work with people that you know that they have your back.
Hey everyone, I'm Gautam, co-founder of Seahawk Media. Joining us today is Aurelio Wool, the CEO and co-founder of WP Umbrella, a powerful SaaS platform that helps agencies and freelancers monitor, update, secure, and report on multiple WordPress sites from a single dashboard. Aurelio's journey is fascinating. After co-founding WP Umbrella in 2021 with CTO Thomas, following nearly a decade as a WordPress user, Aurelio shifted from law to software to solve a glaring market need. Today, WP Umbrella is installed on over 50,000 websites, saw 152% growth in 2024, and performs millions of updates and backups every single month. What sets them apart isn't just their tech, it's their values. WP Umbrella is rooted in transparency, agile iteration, and founder friendly automation. Aurelio preaches building in public, shipping weekly updates, and layering intelligent features like safe scheduled updates, client reports, and proactive alerts. Aurelio, welcome to the WP Legends show. Let's start at the beginning. What inspired you to leave law behind and start and launch WP Umbrella?
Well, thank you for this amazing / terrific introduction, Gautam. It's nice to be here. This is a very good question. During COVID, I'm now living in the Alps, and during COVID, I was living in Paris. And I was like, okay, I am in my 30s. Life is good. I've been there. I have done that. I was a very good lobbyist, if I can say. I was working for the European Union, and it was now or never, And I had this friend from childhood, Thomas, my co-founder. He wanted us to create something, and I just went for it. Like it's now or never. So let's do this, because in life I'd rather what's my go-to thing is not to have regrets. And you almost never regret something you've done. You regret things that you have not done. So I went for it.
That's a good point, actually, and it kind of reminds me of my journey with Seahawk Media as well, because one day I was, I'm in the family business, which is in jewelry space, and suddenly one day I'm not a coder, I can't code shit, but I decided let's make websites for the world, and that's how I met you. And I still remember our very first meeting, and I remember you were in India and Rishikesh, if I'm not, so that's like your passion, your hobby, like traveling. I know you've been to India also many times.
I'm traveling a lot, but I was in India to complete a yoga training teacher.
Okay.
Because I'm also a yoga teacher on the side.
Okay.
And Rishikesh is definitely the go-to place if you want to learn yoga the proper way. And one thing which is important to know, that I'm a bit older. I mean, I'm 34, and when we started WP Umbrella, I was in my 30, and I didn't have, and I still don't have children. And it was super easy being in my 30 to say, okay, let's give it a try. I had nothing to lose. Things are obviously a bit different now, and I think, like, because I'm talking with my users all day long, and they are so inspired with what we are doing now, because it's successful. But I could take all those risks because I didn't have anything to lose.
Got it. And tell me
And I
about your
think it's
first few users. Tell me about your first, because nobody forgets their first few customers. I remember, even I have never forgotten my first, like some interesting incident, your first few customers. How did you get your first paying customers? And tell me about them.
So we got them through WordPress plugin repository. And at that time, we were just doing like uptime monitoring. So no backups, no updates, no reporting. Like it was very like
Okay.
the uptime robot of WordPress.
Okay.
And I don't really remember them, to be honest. What I do remember is the first and I talked about them in a LinkedIn post last week because I met them at WordCamp Europe in Porto.
Oh, wow.
And so I had left my previous corporate jobs like 2 weeks ago. And I was meeting people at the booth. And I met this amazing, inspiring couple from the Netherlands, the Punk family, that are very involved in the community. And we started to talk, and they were just nice, just friendly, traveling the world in their camping car. And they said, okay, when you will have like backups, we will move our websites to your place because we like what you're building. And they were our first customers with more than 100 websites, I think, that come to the WP Umbrella.
Oh, nice. So most of your customers are agencies? Most of your customers, I assume, are agencies, or do you have retail customers?
Almost all our customers are agencies or what I call WordPress developer or designers. Like
freelancers,
to have value out of WP Umbrella, you need to manage like more than 10 websites.
Okay.
And our bigger customers have around 1,000 websites.
Oh, wow.
And
like one client managing 1,000 sites using WP Umbrella.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yeah, that's nice. That's very nice. But you need and it's a B2B tool, you have to pay for it. There is no free version.
Okay.
Not anymore. And yeah, so it's really like a B2B tool, and you need to earn a living out of managing WordPress website if you want to see the value of WP Umbrella.
Of course.
This said, we had I think 400 users that have just one website connected, and they are using the WP Umbrella to do backups, uptime monitoring, because if you think about it, the value is tremendous.
On the numbers part, one thing, because you and I have been connected for years, we are your happy paying customers, Seahawk Media, and we are continuing to connect more and more sites, on a weekly basis. We had a moment at WordCamp also a few days ago, and it was pretty good. We idolized, and we posted a picture about it also. I'm very curious, and it really is very interesting. What is your philosophy behind the public roadmap? Because you post your numbers, the revenues, the number of users. What's the philosophy behind building in public? That's really exciting, and I'm really curious about it.
So, I mean, because it goes even beyond that. Of course, it's a marketing tactic. Of course, it's a marketing tactic. But when I was what I always say is that I try to build the company I wish I had when I was an employee. And when I was an employee, I was young, I was committed, I was driven, and I was so frustrated by the salary gap you had with more senior management, or even between men and women. You do the same thing, you do even better than your colleague, and you get less paid. And I was so done about this. And when we created WP Umbrella with Thomas, we've been following the Buffer story. I don't know if you know Buffer as a company, but they are building in public. This is amazing. And I was but if you don't want to have gender salary issue, if you don't want to have this kind of issues, the easiest way to do that is to put everything in public. And so we have a public salary grid. We are building in public. It's also a very good way. The company is doing well. The employees know that the company is doing well, and so we give them bonuses. And if at one moment the company is doing bad, I'm sure the people will be even more committed to help us navigating this.
I like that.
And transparency makes everything easier. And we have many competitors. One is owned by GoDaddy.
Yes,
so it's a US trade market company. So it's so big, and they don't know their users. Why would they know their user? They are so big. we have another competitor who has raised money in Europe, Modular DS, like they are VC funded, which means that at some point, a return on investment will be the most important thing for them. And we don't have all of this. We don't have stakeholders, we don't have investors, and we can build in public. We have nothing to hide. We are having a lot of fun. That's how we've grown the company. And we could have a higher monthly recurring revenue. We could be installed on more websites, but it would be different. We would have problems, and we would probably do things for what I call the wrong reason. And we do things for our users because, like I said, I like them, and I think they like us, and this is why we have been so successful.
No, I respect that. I became your user, and you said like when you're happy, then only you put your card on file. I still remember all of that, and I do remember, and I'm very excited to learn about your recent PatchStack integration as well, right? I think that was a big update for you. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know you update.
Yeah.
You're keeping updating the Umbrella core.
Probably in February we had a massive update about our reporting feature.
Okay.
Which was like a lot of work, and I was so excited about. And the next like cool things to do for us was this integration with PatchStack. PatchStack is doing a terrific work when it comes to researches, like the vulnerability database they are managing. It's amazing. Like, and Oliver and the team at PatchStack it's people we like, people that we are getting inspired from. And we started discussion and integration because we don't want to do security, because security, it's too complex. Like, you need to have many researchers, you need to stay up to date, and with AI it's even harder. And it was very clear from day one with Thomas that we would never go after security plugins because it would be too complex. Not that WP Umbrella is easy. I think WP Umbrella is even harder because doing backups.
Nothing is easy. I think nothing is easy. No business, no matter how big or small, is easy because there are always some challenges or the other, whether it's human resources, whether it's cash flow, whether it's negative customer experiences, so many.
But backing up WordPress websites, regardless on the hosting provider, is probably the hardest things that we are doing.
And is there any cap on the size of the website? Can you handle WooCommerce sites with 50,000 products also, or is there a cap?
Yeah. No, nowadays, after 3 years of research and development, we can back up every website.
Yeah, I think.
But going back. Pardon, go ahead.
I think you have 4 hours, 12 hours. You have set up like that, right? People do that.
Yeah, we have various frequencies. And for WooCommerce, we have hourly backups, which is obviously an add-on. Because when it was free, people would activate the hourly backups on vitrine websites, and they were like, no, guys, you shouldn't do that. Never. Like, it's bad for performance. And I think agencies, they need a lot of education on what I call low IT. How is a computer working? How is a server working? How are DNS working? Like basic stuff, which is very far from their day-to-day. But in the end, it's the bottleneck of everything,
Got it. Absolutely, 100%. And you are updating basis on customer experience. That's what I understand. WP Umbrella is evolving because you talk to your customers, you get feedback from your clients, etc. That's what your core philosophy is, correct? Always.
Yeah, and it's rooted in the building public,
Yes, correct.
We are transparent, we are building in public, and we got like a product market fit because people like to be listened. And we like to listen to them. They like to read about what we do, and we like to write about what we do.
True.
And this is like a very nice green cycle, if you think about it.
And about to reach the $1 million mark. I know, very, very cool, right? Are you there?
Yeah.
Are you there today?
Probably by the end of week of annual recurring revenue.
I should have recorded this episode next week then. but
I will give you a shootout when we do.
I love that. I absolutely love that, and I think that's very respectable that you do that.
And if you think about this, who I would be to think I'm better than my users,
Hmm.
and who I would be to think that my brain is better at making decisions than the brain of dozens or hundreds of people who take the time to tell me what they think. And what I also like, I mean, you're from India, if
Yes.
I'm,
Yes, now I live in the
I,
UK, but yes, I'm from India. My family,
I,
my ethnicity, like, of course, yes.
I have brains from India. I have brain from the UK. I have brain from the States. I have brain from France, from Germany. And the added value of being able to connect all those brain through a built-in public strategy is insane. It's amazing. It's so
I
much
remember,
wealth.
I remember you mentioned, I think last year you had 5 people in your team. How many people are in your team out there now?
We are 6 person, and we are looking for another one. What has changed and what has allowed us to keep almost the same number while more than doubling is, of course, AI.
Mm-hmm.
And we are obsessed about putting AI, not in our product, because there is almost no AI in WP Umbrella, but in the ticketing system. But we are so obsessed about putting AI in our internal processes to save time.
Of course, for everybody.
And
Everybody should do
yeah,
that. Everybody should evangelize AI to the best of their ability, of course.
yeah. I mean, on the one hand, you think less from time to time. On
Of
the
course.
other hand, if you keep thinking, it's such an enabler. And I think, like, productivity wise, content wise, support wise, it has multiplied our productivity by 3 to 6, 7 times.
That's amazing. I this is pretty cool that with such a small team, you are able to scale your business like this. Of course, that means operationally, and a lot of other factors in your company, you are doing something very right that you're able to do that. I was speaking last week, I recorded an episode, it's already published, with Damanjit from Funnel Kit in India, and he also has a pretty lean team. And they're managing, I don't know, tens of thousands of customers globally, also in the WooCommerce space. So I like that. We are in the pro services game, so we have, as the name, services. So obviously we have much more manpower, but I totally respect the fact when it comes to, working with the lean team is good, especially because you are talking to only those many people and you're
Yeah.
focusing on just doing good work. When you do good work, money will follow sooner than later. That's what I believe in. Customer happiness leads to everything else.
And if you think about it, once again, it's linked to the building public. And
True.
that's what I was telling people in the early days of WP Umbrella. Like, if your updates or your backups are not working, I'm having a bad evening. You know,
Hmm.
I will sleep bad and I will have a bad day because I care about
Mm-hmm.
you, because you are the reason why and the reason with I'm building the product. And we have always, in the history of WP Umbrella, prioritize bug fixes over like new fancy stuff.
I see.
And this was also a way to make sure that customer support is scalable, because you have some team, they have bugs, so they hire more customer support agents to acknowledge a bug and to try to keep the people
So is it
happy.
safe to say, that this year, besides the big patch stack update sector, you have some more interesting updates coming up like that? Big updates? Maybe something
Oh
secret
yeah.
working in the background, secret or in
uh,
public?
I mean, this year we already released like the new reporting feature,
Hmm.
the patch tag account.
Hmm.
We are going to release next week, it's already in production, a new system of logs, because when you manage hundreds of websites, you need a central view to
Hmm.
know how all your processes have gone. Like, when
Hmm.
you update like 400 websites in one click, you need like a clear picture of how it went. So this is already live, and it's going to be announced at the end of the month. And then we have update automation coming. So people will basically be able to set some updating rules and never come back to the WP umbrella and just receive like a digest of their report, which is amazing. And then we are going to release the V3 of the WP umbrella with a whole new dashboard that's going to change the way people are managing websites forever.
Oh, that's amazing. I like your UI. I really love the WP Umbrella's UI UX as a customer for a really long time. So I think your team is doing a terrific job over there. So I think that's pretty cool. You mentioned you live in the French Alps now, so safe to say you're a skier. You moved there because you like skiing?
I like skiing, I like mountaineering, climbing, and I like surfing so much. So when I'm not in the Alps,
south of France,
I'm in Portugal. I'm in Portugal surfing.
Oh, that's amazing. That's good to know. And are you watching any interesting podcast? Any podcasters you follow? Netflix shows which you cannot you're totally hooked off?
When it comes, and I said alors, which is a French word. When it comes to podcast, I mostly listen French podcast, such as Génération Do It Yourself. I like to listen from time to time the YC Combinator podcast. Also because nowadays with AI, the people at YC is a startup incubator in the US, and they have a vision that I might not share all the time, but they are like super smart people, and it's nice to it's very nice to listen. I don't watch Netflix a lot, but when I do, I like to disconnect my brain and look at stuff like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. How I
senseless stuff. I know what
you know. Like, I don't have to
think too much. Tell me something. This is a question which I ask everybody. Okay, where do you think WordPress is going in the next 5 years? Not 1, not 2, not 10, 5. Because listen to this. Okay, I'm very bullish on WordPress. Okay, but with AI, Lovable, Framer, and Wix and Squarespace making improvements, etc., and all of that, I'm not threatened by them. I think everybody can coexist in the same ecosystem. But I always wonder, and I'm curious, and that's why I ask every founder, 5 years, where do you think WordPress is going? You think?
I think it's the hardest question you can ask someone because we are using AI in everything we do, and I don't know to what extent we are special to that regard. And my parents are not using AI. My girlfriend is almost not using AI. And so many people that are building websites are not even using Cursor, so they are not using AI at all.
Very true.
And the adoption curve of AI will probably take 5 to 10 years, I think. And so I think for the next 3 to 4 to 5 years, WordPress will still be growing, and AI will enable people to do more with WordPress.
Good point.
In 5 years, I have no clue about. You know the traffic data from Stack Overflow.
Yes.
It was like so high, then ChatGPT and nowadays nobody goes to Stack Overflow. Almost nobody. And you can still find few things on Stack Overflow actually that you cannot find on ChatGPT, but it's another topic. And my point is that in 5 years, I think the question is not going to be do people still make a WordPress website? I think the question is going to be how do people consume the internet?
That's true. That's true.
Are people going to just do things on ChatGPT? And then we still have the issue that LLM need to be nourished, so we need like websites, final stops. But I think the question is like, for instance, I'm not very much into YouTube, and the people that are in their 30s, they learn everything from YouTube. The people that are in their 20s don't go to YouTube; they go all TikTok, and tomorrow we will be able to generate AI movies like so perfect, and maybe people will not even go to TikTok. I don't know. For me, it's like way too big, way too
Happening too
far.
fast, happening too fast for any and all of us to keep up, isn't it?
Yeah, it's impossible to keep
You want to
up.
hear
And
something funny? You want to hear something funny? I was using Google Gemini the other day with deep research, for some stuff. And I discovered like when it says researching, it's actually reading YouTube videos and TikTok videos. You mentioned the word TikTok, so it just jogged my memory. So if I'm doing a hardcore research and I need some topic about, let's say, ancient Egypt or some WordPress technology or something, it will look, and because YouTube is owned by Google and Gemini, it was reading the videos. When this podcast episode goes on YouTube, okay, and we trigger a search, what we discussed about, it can pick up and is reading YouTube videos. It's unbelievable. You're absolutely right. And the Google AI search overview is also crazy. And I was looking at the Sundar Pichai interview, Google CEO, and he was asked a question like, with all this AI happening, etc., where do you think Google's future is going to be in the next few years? And he said, well, the searches are only increasing. So I think we are safe for now. you know?
yeah, no, everybody is safe for now.
Yeah.
But and there is one. I think WordPress is amazing. I think WordPress is open source.
Yes, true.
And if you think about it, this will protect WordPress forever because cool stuff like Lovable, Wix,
Yes.
Webflow, whatever, you don't own your data.
True.
And this is a huge problem that you don't have with WordPress. And for that reason, WordPress will always be, I think, the same way as Drupal is, a very good tool that people will love. Final stop. And I lost what I wanted to say.
But
Sorry.
I know. That's okay. And tell
Yeah.
me, tell me, this is again a burning question, and I am very curious about this because the hosting game, there's so many new providers in the hosting space coming up with their own managed WordPress solutions, etc. Now you obviously are managing through WP Umbrella. So many websites are being managed. So do you see, or do you have any recommendations when it comes to freelancers, startups, people starting out the agency world, not hosting company name, but type of hosting should they choose? VPS, managed WordPress, shared hosting issues. Do you want to give any suggestions on that?
Um, I don't want to make myself any enemy, so I will not. So I will not give any name, but I
Mm.
will probably give people an advice. Looping back to what I said earlier about the fact that agencies should learn more about the basics of how IT is working.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you go too cheap,
Mm.
you have bad tools, and then you have problems,
Mm-hmm.
and then the cost that you save with those bad tools become exponential.
True.
Um, so I think you should never be too cheap on hostings, especially if you have clients, because to save like 10, $20 per month, you end up with like a terrific situation that hurts your reputation and hurts the performance of the website you have made or are maintaining. So this is like one first advice. If you go blogging, I have a blog. It's on a shitty shared hosting, and that's fine. But as soon as you start to have your reputation at stake, you want to have a decent tool. And when it comes to build website, your tool is your hosting company. This is one thing. And the other thing is, how do you like to manage this layer of IT? And if you don't, it's definitely worth paying a bit more to have like a cool WordPress managed hosting, like Kinsta, like Cloudways, like Rocket.net, like this kind of fully managed service. It's definitely worth the price. If, on the other hand, you like to be a bit more technical, you like to put your hands inside the engine, it might be worth to get something more dedicated, something that you manage. But it's a full-time job, and you need to be very good at security.
True.
And then all your eggs are in the same basket,
Hmm.
which is also terrible, because if one day your server goes down, it's not one client you have to deal with, it's like all your clients, and this is terrible, and it's super complex. So I would, the question is, how do you add value for your clients?
Mm-hmm.
And then all your choices
You
should
should
be
not
made on
hesitate
that
for
basis.
hosting. I stand by you. We should never have hesitate on depending on the client's needs, traffic spikes,
Yeah,
etc. Never compromise. I think that's very important. I think hosting providers should also educate more on that space, because rather than, I know there's fierce competition, in the hosting space, but I would also say
yeah,
the same
yeah, yeah.
same thing. So I,
But I'm not going to make any friend saying this, but I think the hosting industry is so slow and lack of vision.
hmm,
And for instance, all hostings at the moment they want to build something like WP Umbrella, so they have a WordPress management dashboard, and because they have like product owner that think it's fancy, but they don't understand that their clients, agencies, they have websites everywhere. And then there is no value for them to do like a nice dashboard so they can manage all the websites they have in one single place because they have websites in every places. And I think hosting company they lack vision. And I'm talking a lot with hosting companies like almost every day. Uh, and there is like two paths. The one that are trying to do like copycat and launching something that already exists with a slightly different marketing, and wow, what a surprise, it doesn't work. And you have hosting companies that try new things that add value for their users, white label services for WordPress maintenance, where they do everything for the users. I know that you are powering several services like that, Gotham,
yes,
and I think this is a way to how hosting can add value to their clients.
yes.
And if the way to add value is price, which means cutting down on resources, then you are probably not adding value. If the value is making the website faster, making the website uptime better, making the website more secure, then you have value.
I like
And
that.
I think,
I like
and
that.
I, and
Better
I think
support, better
is,
support also, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Support is non-negotiable.
Hmm,
Support is everything.
hmm,
And I was talking to the guy behind Trelor Media. I don't know if you know him. He's a famous YouTuber. And he asked me a question. If all your competitors go free,
hmm.
why would people keep paying for WP Umbrella? And I instantly said customer support. And I think time is precious and you need to work with people that you know that they have your back. And it's true for WP Umbrella, but it should be true for your hosting as well and for your agencies.
I hear you. That's pretty cool. Final one or two questions because we're coming up on time. And this one I also ask everybody. $100 million in your bank tomorrow, no questions asked. What's the first thing you will do? Personally, professionally, anything which comes to your mind. Buy a mountain with 100 cows, I don't know, retire on a beach. What would you do?
Uh, I would give, I mean, if it was coming from WP Umbrella, I would reshare a significant amount of this to the team.
Hmm.
Uh, I would give another significant amount to charities because I don't need that much money.
Hmm.
Uh, and I would probably take a very nice quarter, half a year of holidays, traveling the world with my girlfriend, my parents,
Hmm.
sending them in nice places. Like that's probably what I would do. Like one third for the employee, one third for charities because we are living in a terrible world, and I would take care of the people I love.
Good thought. Good thought. Thank you so much, Aurelio. Where can our listeners find you online? Are you on, I know you're on LinkedIn. Are you on x.com? Or is your email support ticket? How do they find you online?
LinkedIn is nice.
Oh,
Aurelio Vol, they can find me. I'm also on X, same name. And if they want to reach out to us, the best way is support@wpmra.com because my personal inbox is like so messed up and I'm having a hard time to follow all the messages I get. So,
okay.
thanks, man. It was so nice to.
It was so nice to
Uh,
catch up also. It's interesting that we saw each other in person just a few days ago in Basel WordCamp, and I'm looking forward to seeing one of the following events, whether it's WordCamp or any other. Thank you so much, Aurelio. And
my pleasure.
bye. Thank you.